about how you grew up and where you're from, and then we'll go from there. So who wants to go first?
Okay, well, I grew up in Toronto, Canada, with both my parents.
Okay.
Both my parents are Caribbean, so from Grenada, small island, and then they moved to Canada at some point. And yeah, so pretty big family. So I have a twin and an older brother, and then some sisters. Never actually lived with my sisters though. And yeah, I grew up as a regular. We were rich.
So middle class.
Definitely started off upper, lower class. I just didn't notice it really, and then like looking back now, I know we had a lot of money, but then now definitely middle class, and yeah, that's about it. I feel like it was a regular life.
Okay. Tre.
So I grew up Alabama, Georgia, back and forth a lot. My parents got divorced when I was young, so I mostly just grew up around my mom, but my dad was always around. What else?
Brothers, sisters?
We're not gonna count brothers and sisters. Right?
Okay.
I got like 6 siblings, 5 brothers,
Okay.
and a sister. We're not gonna go into all that, it's too much. I guess it's like we struggled a little bit growing up, but my mom made sure that like none of us saw just regular
But your mom made sure
African Americans.
you always had what you wanted, so if you're gonna say, or
Yeah, I was very, it's like I saw like what was happening, like they would say, so like I was very like homely person, I didn't actually much. My mom was like, oh, we should go buy you this, we should go buy you that. And it's like, I didn't want the brand new shoes or nothing, it was just, so like I got something.
okay. So let's talk about relationships. Okay. So first of all, let's just talk basic. How have your relationship been in Korea?
Relationships as in what?
That's a dating.
Yeah, dating.
Dating?
Plead the fifth.
Oh gosh.
What is dating?
Oh goodness.
I don't know Korean, so I have never dated a Korean. That is what I will say.
Oh god, I'm weak. Okay, so dating is, or just any type of relationship. It doesn't necessarily have to be.
Usually, because like when I first came here, I tried looking for a relationship, but it's like being here. People are here only temporarily.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, they just want to, have sex and keep it moving. It's like, it took me a whole year to adapt to that, but hey, it is what it is.
I'm weak. Kenrick.
Pleaded the fifth. Relationships, plead the fifth.
Okay, so we know that from when we grow up, we have like trauma or whatever, things that we have to deal with. So when you are in a relationship, do you feel like it's on your partner to help you get through that, or should you already have worked on it before you get into a relationship?
I say everybody's a work in progress.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's like, and like, down the line, there's going to be things that will trigger. It's like things
That you don't have to
from
work
your
on.
past. And
Yeah.
it's like force you to work on stuff that you haven't worked on here, stuff that's like, that you still need to work on. And sometimes, that partner can help out, but I wouldn't say it's on them to help you that.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta do the work yourself. The partner can help you to see something, but if you don't want to work on it, then they can't force you to do anything. You're the only one who can, change your life, change or if that's like your partner, like to a degree, you should be able to expect their help after like you've identified something. But like
After you say that it's a problem.
yeah, so after they say this is a problem, then like to a degree, you should be able to lean on them for some support. But you still have to do the work yourself. So like I'll take myself for an example, like my ex all the time, like you don't communicate.
Right.
I still, I didn't communicate. So
Right.
I could work on that myself, but she could tell me this. I still have to, take steps to be like, okay, I'm mad, here's what I'm mad about, and keep it moving. So yeah, you have to, at the end of the day, be open and willing to do the work yourself.
Because I think that was like one of the major things that was wrong with me and my ex-wife. It's like it came to a point like we just stopped communicating. Like every time we communicated, we argued. It's like we knew how to push each other's buttons.
Right.
And like we did it. I mean, but I think that was like one of the things like with her that I think I shouldn't have pushed it. Like we shouldn't have gotten married, just stay best friends. Now we're one of the best friends.
Your best friend.
Yeah. It's like I'm going back home to Atlanta and she's moved from the Virgin Islands to Atlanta. Best friend.
Ooh, that's a good question. So, being friends with exes, how do y'all feel about? Well, I know. Well, you're okay with that.
Yeah, I'm friends. I'm still friends with all my exes.
Okay.
Depends on the person.
It depends on how you end your
But-
relationship, I guess.
My longest relationship, we were not friends until recently. Like I just went back home, we talked everything out, and now we're cool. Before that, so we broke up 2017, like March, and then did not talk at all until last September. So yeah, last September was like, and that wasn't like a talk. Her mom had passed away, so I was like, quick little talk.
How are
And then yeah, so I was like, yeah. So then a couple months ago, I was like, I'll be back. Yeah, in Toronto. So see you. We talked. So this was like 2-ish weeks ago. We talked, and yeah, now we are good again. Which I think it's very hard not to get caught up in the we're ex whatever. Get out of my life, but then like me and her we talked, we're like, yeah, we missed the friendship of it. Like we were together for almost 4 years, like and I would see her, like we worked together for a while too. I would be at her house like 5, 6, 7 days a week. So like seeing her family, seeing her mom and everything. And then like just throwing all that out the window when we broke up, like that's a very dumb thing to do, but then at the same time, everybody, you need to heal in your own ways, on your own terms.
Yeah, I think that's good, It's like when you break up, both of you separate for a while.
Right.
Work on yourself. And then eventually you find a way back to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we both have grown since then, we both matured since then. I've gotten a lot smarter. I communicate more now, so I've gotten better.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it is, I talk to some of my exes, most of them. Other ones, not, because life, he hate me, so I don't know. I ain't got time to talk to everybody either, so.
Alright, so before I would have been like, if I was dealing with somebody and they were like super close with my ex, I would have been like, nah. Or super close with their ex, I would have been like, nah. But I feel like I have changed my perspective on it because you're friends, right? Like when you're in a relationship, ideally you should be friends, So you were friends at that point, and just because things happen or whatever doesn't mean you can't be friends again after. As long as you know your boundaries, as long as everybody knows their boundaries, I don't see a problem with it. The only problem comes when you don't know your boundaries, So why you smirking?
Exactly. I push it. There's no reason, like, as adults, you can't be friends with your ex unless, like, they did something, like, you know, unless they, like, stole your
Well, if
identity.
somebody's still trying to get, like, using that as, like,
Get in.
yeah,
Or to get back together.
yeah.
You never know what could happen.
See, that's the problem. That's the problem.
No, but even with that, you said you'd be like, nah, before you'd be like, nah.
Yeah.
So do you guys feel like in a relationship, like you can tell the other person like who they can and can't talk to?
No, I'm not gonna tell you who you can and can't talk to. I'm gonna tell you this is what I'm gonna deal with. And if you're doing something else, then we just not gonna be together. You can do what you wanna do. But I'm gonna tell you from the get-go, this is how it's gonna be. And I hope that you will be honest with me and not try to be like, well, I hear you, but I'm gonna still do what I'm gonna do. And then I find out later and I'm like, dude, I told you in the beginning, this is what I wanted, so, you know.
Yeah, that's one thing I've learned. Is like you gotta be open about what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Because both y'all have two different things of what you want. It's like somebody just
Right, somebody gonna try to change how the other person is, and then it's just, you're gonna end up finding out anyway, so you might as well tell everything in the beginning.
Just sometimes they can just have a mask on too.
Yeah.
That's one of the, I think the hardest things with relationships is it's two people, each person wants their own thing, they all have their wants, their desires, and you know, everybody should be putting themselves first and their own happiness first, and then trying to merge these things together is, a lot of times, that's where a lot of conflict comes in.
Right, so what is compromise? Because that word sounds like, I don't know, I will always be like, do I have to compromise what I want to be in a relationship? Is that what it is supposed to be? Like,
I think to a degree, there's always going to be compromise because, so to give an example, so like Will and Jada, it's like, he was like, oh, I used to always want her to come with me, and you know, if I want to go skydiving, I want her to be there. But skydiving's not her thing, so like, the compromise in this is, at least once a year, I do what she wants to do, she does what I want to do, and the rest of the time, I'm free to, you know, just go do it by myself. So that's like a fair compromise where you're not really losing out on anything.
yeah.
But there's always going to be some sort of compromise, even if it's not with your partner. Definitely if you have kids, there's going to be a lot of compromise there. And I think that is just with life in general. You're going to have to make compromises. So at work, nobody really wants to go to work that much. But you know, I need money, so that's what compromise is. I wake up and I go into work and I give them for 40 hours.
The army's a big compromise every day. It's like, should I stop this person?
But my thing is, so with there's compromise and then there's faking it. So like, if you are a bubbly person, you shouldn't dial that back to make another person happy, which is one of the things like I've learned is a lot of people when they are younger people, like that's why they're like, oh, you know, women over 30, they're the goal, because you know they go and they know what they want, boom, they're just starting off with that. Young people, they're faking it for a long time, and then when you see the real person, it's like, okay, what was all this for 6 months or a year? So it's like, why, and now I don't understand why people fake it, because they're just wasting a lot of time. Where it's like, if you would have just started with this, you know, either we're gonna be happy or we're not gonna fit together, but if we're faking it for 10 years, let's say, and then the real you comes out and we hate each other, it's like, well, now we just wasted 10 years of each other's time. For what? For nothing. So that's one of the bad things.
Sometimes people don't even know, sometimes people are so used to playing a role, they don't even know that they're not being themselves. They're just used to that.
And they're both, I think that's it too, is you're trying to be what you think the other person wants you to be. A lot of times they don't even want you to be that. So you need to just, you know, whoever you are, be you to the full extent of that. Because at the end of the day, if you're trying to please somebody else, that probably is not going to work. You don't know how they're going to react. If you're trying to please yourself, though, you know you can make yourself You got at least yourself. That's one out of two. That's good odds. Take them odds. What I'm rolling with.
It's like a lot of my friends going out clubbing and stuff. They tell me, bro, I just tell this girl a story that she's gonna want to hear. You know, just go back to the crib. It's like, what? It's like, is that easy?
Goodness, see, that's the problem. So what do y'all think about the like? So I feel like our generation is kind of on this like one up each other type thing, where can't nobody express themselves fully because then you're gonna be like looked at as yeah, the weaker partner or the weaker person in the relationship. So everybody's trying to win instead of expressing themselves. What do y'all think about that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, like I said in my marriage earlier, like, yeah, we did exactly that. Always trying to one up each other.
Yeah.
Eventually, just.
And then it is done for no reason.
Definitely agree. So like, even with my ex, it's like, you know, Aisha Curry was like, oh, you know, I want male attention sometimes because, you know, all these girls are coming up to stuff like, oh, I love you, blah, blah, blah. And like, I definitely went through that with my ex. Like, I talked to her about it, so it was like, oh, women, because she had like really nice hair, so women are always like, oh, her hair is so nice, blah, blah, blah. And of course, guys would say that to her, and I'm just there like, am I ugly? Am I? That's why. Shit. Because obviously guys aren't, you know, guys don't really compliment other guys, and then girls see you with another girl, they're not really going to compliment you either. So it's like, well, guess nobody loves me, and now I gotta, you know, do stupid stuff behind closed doors to get female attention. You know, what am I stupidness?
So you felt Aisha's point.
Yeah, I felt. I understood.
That's crazy.
I know exactly what she was talking about. Which made, I know people were like trying to shit on her because it was her who was saying it, but her point, like it complete, especially in her world, where it's like literally almost everybody knows who Steph Curry is. He's famous. Like maybe in your relationship you might not get that, but he's famous, so people are always, you know, coming up to him.
And everybody knows you as his wife.
Exactly. It's just, oh, this is Steph's wife. Like, that's all like you introduce to people. So like, so I understood it, but yeah, the internet, so.
That's crazy, because most dudes were like, why she putting herself out there like that? She just throwing a fishing line for attention, but it's like, everybody wants attention. How parents, this is the last topic we're gonna do. So how parents raise boys and girls differently, and like, why that's a problem?
How was it raised differently?
Like, were you allowed to just do what you wanted a lot of the time, and your mom was like, oh, go ahead, you're a boy, it's okay.
I grew up with very strict parents, so I could nothing. I could absolutely nothing.
What about you?
I grew up with strict parents, so like I didn't even try to do nothing, to be honest. Like, and I had a twin, so like if I would come home without my brother, they'd be like, "Where's your brother? Wow, what are you guys doing?" Blah blah blah. So like that type of thing. So like, yeah, I never really tried to do anything. It just always like there were certain rules that I knew. Like even if they never told me like, yeah, be home before 9 or 10. Like it's just one of those things I just knew to do. You know, come home on time.
Did you have a girlfriend growing up?
Huh?
Did you have a girlfriend?
Oh no. I never tried.
I could have a girlfriend.
You couldn't have a
I never
girlfriend?
tried.
What?
I mean, I still did.
That's surprising.
They let you have a boyfriend?
Yeah, my mom was very lenient.
Yeah, it never. I remember when I brought my first girlfriend to meet. Well, not to meet. I was going to prom in high school. That's like the first time they met my actual girlfriend. Like I don't know what they're gonna say. Blah blah blah. So I asked my girlfriend. All right, bye. We got on the bus, and that was that. And then like after that point, like I was cool bringing people to meet my parents. But that was the first time I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Right?
Wait, I got a question. So did y'all have the sex talk with your parents?
Never.
What?
That's not a
Okay,
thought.
so like my first partner, um, she lived like three streets away from me, and like, but we rode two different buses, and like sometimes we would, go have sex in the morning. Her parents weren't there, and like one morning I had to run out early, and she put a condom in the bathroom trash can. Her mom came home first that day and let the dog out.
Oh shoot.
Dog went through trash.
Yeah.
Her mom found it.
Yeah.
So my sex life was very awkward because I had it not only with my parents but with her parents together.
Dang. I know her daddy was giving you to stay down.
Yeah, the only sex like I had was don't have sex. That's
What?
like the Christian way. Just ain't no sex charge. Don't have sex till you're married. That's it. Case closed.
What?
Case closed.
My dad's pretty open. He was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, you got a little girlfriend out there or whatever?" But my mom was like, "Nah, it didn't happen." It's like I would go to my dad's house sometimes, and like I'll take his car and like go to girls' houses and stuff.
Yeah, he knew what you was doing.
But he'd be like, "Hey, here's a pumpkin."
Yeah, I just.
Do you talk to your parents about it now? Not no.
No.
No, it's
like my dad still be trying to like ease up in there, like get the details, and it's like I'm still just like keeping my distance.
yeah. Me and my dad don't talk like that. So yeah, he doesn't. We don't really talk like that. My mom.
Yeah,
We
that's your
don't talk
mom.
like that. We don't talk about. I mean, we talk about stuff like
Yeah.
sex.
I mean, I would expect it with your mom, but maybe your dad.
Never, yeah. Until I come home with the baby, I think I'll have sex. That's what I would, yeah, that's what I would hope. They don't think I have sex. So I don't have sex.
Oh goodness.
See?
That is so different than my mom was very open. And my mom, she was very honest, and she would be like, she would just be honest. She would be like, you need to protect yourself, and you need to, she would just be honest with me.
Sex positive.
Yeah. And I don't feel any type of way when I have, sometimes we talk a little bit too much, but I don't feel any type of way like when I have those conversations with her. But sometimes we do. I guess you could be a little bit too open because some things I don't want to know between her. But anyways, so that's different.
I mean, yeah, I think that's like, I think a lot of church people get that too, where it's just don't have sex until you're married, and that's, talk is done. You don't learn anything else, so I made it pretty far without having sex, I think.
I made it to the
I made it to university.
17 years old.
I made it to university. I'm proud of myself for that.
It's like I'm not having sex, I get married, and it's like got this girlfriend, she lives so close.
Yeah, I ain't never had that in my life. Everybody I dated lived mad far. Mad far.
Y'all are funny. Alright, so that's it. Can you click the end of the video?
Oh. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel on YouTube. It's The Incredible Beast. And I'm out.